Did you ever hear the phrase, the Hound of Heaven? The Hound of Heaven? It's kind of famous in the 19th century. It's a poem written by an English poet named Francis Thompson, about 120 years ago, late Victorian poet. And in it he talks about, this is his image that he creates, and became really, really well known in the first half of the 20th century. In it, in his poem, he talks about God as a hound in relentless pursuit of a rabbit, a hare, never tiring, never ceasing in his running, ever drawing nearer in his chase with unhindered and unperturbed pace. And he says that that's just how God pursues the fleeing soul with his divine grace. That God is the Hound of Heaven, harassing that hare until he catches it. And even though the soul tries to hide itself from God, in things like pride, greed, lust, even though the soul goes undercover, down its hole, as far as it can, away from the presence, divine grace keeps after it till the soul feels its pressure, forcing it to turn back to God alone, in that never-ending pursuit. And that's the Hound of Heaven. When it first appeared in this poem by Francis Thompson, it must have been startling to people to talk about God as a hound and the human soul as a rabbit. It wasn't proper theology. It wasn't evangelical language even. It's startling. It's not really attractive or warm and fuzzy. But I think it's very, very apt for what God does, how God operates in human life. I think it's especially apt for our purposes this morning, because spirituality in the form of spiritual curiosity and imagination, that force that pursues us, is the very same quality or characteristic of the divine human interaction that Francis Thomas was talking about in his poem. Spiritual curiosity hounds us. It's after us all the time. That's what it does, doesn't it? God stands at the door and knocks, knocks, knocks. And ultimately, God hounds us. Spiritual curiosity hounds us about things that we finally realize we can't resolve with our human minds, with our eyes or our hands. But it requires going inside, and the senses count. It demands that we turn within and confront our God there, because that's where he is. Spiritual curiosity hounds us to take a leap into the void, the very same void that covered creation before God said, "Let there be light." And spiritual curiosity encourages us to shine a light where darkness is only